Welcome everybody. I'm Dawn Campbell, your IAPC&M host for the fourth day in this week-long 23rd anniversary of International Coaching Week, an initiative created by the lovely Jerry Udelson, who we met yesterday. And as you know by now, the theme for this year is sales, sales, sales. So we've had the benefit of engaging with 11 expert speakers who have committed to delivering more than 15 hours of content-rich masterclasses, all designed to help us get over our fears of selling so we can grow our dream businesses. And we've covered a wide range of topics from networking, the ancient art of closing, aligning our sales philosophy with our values, having a human-centered approach to selling, creating that all-important client journey, having an effective CRM process, and masses of tips and techniques for creating a sustainable coaching business, not least humanity selling on social media, and what happens when we look after our clients post-sale. And this morning, we explored how to flip a no to a yes and deal with better discovery calls. And now we come to the 12th and final speaker of the day, which is Sarah Gray, who is going to show us how to conduct winning webinars, a crucial skill in this digital age and a very much anticipated session. Hello and welcome, Sarah.
Hi, everyone. How are you? I am so excited for this talk. I really want to be tangible and practical, so make sure that you have your notebook and pen out, because there'll be a lot I say. I'm not a slide deck person. My slides are short. I talk more. So I'm very excited. Will I start, Dawn, or do you want to?
I just want to say a few more words, please, Sarah. I want to introduce you properly as a speaker, trainer, and online business growth expert. Sarah is mostly known for her webinar success method, which we're going to learn about in her 1-hour session today, which includes a Q&A. Now, Sarah is an engaging and down-to-earth speaker. She's devoted to helping coaches and online entrepreneurs grow their businesses. And she achieves this by helping them make a bigger impact and creating a win-win relationship with her webinar success strategy, which has actually helped her grow her business from $3,000 a month to over $150,000 a month in sales in just 1 year. So I'm super keen to learn more. But before we dive in, the regulars will know I always like to find out something a little bit different, unique, or special about our speakers that isn't widely known. And Sarah's kind of let me down a little bit here today, because I was going to say she always wears green, but she's not at her own home, so she doesn't have access to a wardrobe. So she's very patriotic and uses her Irish charm and that green brand. So anyway, it's kind of a khaki. So I'd love to hand over to you without further ado, Sarah, and encourage everyone to pick up your pads and pens and take copious notes.
Thank you, Dawn. I really appreciate that. So welcome everyone to my session. I am super excited to be teaching you all how to not be the best kept secret as a coach. So the first thing I want you to do is maybe a lot of questions, a lot of engagement. You're going to be typing to the chat consistently. So make sure you get rid of distractions, you close the browsers you don't need, put away your phone and type yes into the chat. You're going to dedicate yourself these 45 minutes to learning how to attract your ideal clients. So make sure, I want all 35 of you live right now, and the ones in the Facebook who are watching, type yes into the chat. I want to make sure you're energized, you're excited, and you're ready for this session. So give me yes into the chat. So on this session, we're going to be speaking about webinars. Now, as a coach, so I'm going to also ask you to type in what type of coach you are. Are you a career coach, a life coach, a mindset coach? What is your zone of genius? Type it into the chat. And what happens as coaches is, who loves to serve people? Hands up. Who loves to help people with their problems? You know, you know that you're out there to help people with their problems. Like, that is deep down the biggest passion of your life. And that's why we have become coaches. But what happens is we feel like we're the best kept secret. We don't have an audience. We don't have as many clients as we'd like to serve. And we get a bit upset and disgruntled, saying, you know, why do people not realize all the content and information and help I could give to them, because I'm not putting myself out there? So who feels like it's the best kept secret as a coach? even if you're a new coach or an experienced coach, you know that there's coaches in your industry and they're top of the game, and you're saying that could be me. I want to speak more. I want to help more people. I want to serve more people. And to do that, I have found a way, and that is webinars. So thanks everyone who's commented in the chat. So we've creativity coach, life coach, leadership, business, mindset, family crisis. I want to sell more. Okay, me. Fantastic. So this session is a very tangible session. I'm a marketing person by background. I'm not a motivational speaker. So let's get down to the facts of how you're going to actually craft this webinar. Okay, so I'm going to get started. The first thing I want to say is my background. So I'm based in Ireland. I'm moving to Spain next month. I turned 30 last week, and I've been in business for 8 years. So this is my third business. Who's not on their first business? Who's had multiple businesses? Give me a yes or not alone in the chat. But they all have a similar theme, all to do with marketing, all to do with selling and helping people. So the same overarching theme. And when I realized I wanted to become a coach, I just love coaching, love helping people. I was like, yes, I am so ready to go out there and help people with their marketing and their sales. And I was so confused. I was frustrated, confused. Like, there are so many strategies out there. Like, who's a small bit overwhelmed with all the marketing strategies? Bit overwhelmed, a bit frustrated, because there are so many things that you could do to close coaching clients. Give me a yes if that's happening to you right now. You're hearing about, you need to do a paid event, you need to do a webinar, you need to do social media, you need to do LinkedIn, Clubhouse, TikTok. Just the list goes on and on. You need a website, you need this and that. And what's happening is you're dabbling, not mastering in your marketing. You're dabbling and not mastering in your client lead generation system. You're not consistent. And the key to success is consistency. You need something so simple that you will literally do every month to attract your dream clients. And that's how I found the way. And my system is using webinars and the simple tools that are already out there in the marketing world to get in front of hundreds of my ideal clients. Because you can do marketing and it could be very time consuming, very expensive, but it's not as effective. And what I love about webinars is you get to speak, teach, and close dream ideal clients. You know, there's a big difference with getting people on a webinar who are not ideal and who are ideal. So I'll be going through my 3 pillars for you to win clients with webinars, and I'm super excited. So here's an example. This was me last month. I was doing a webinar, and it was actually in a Facebook group. You can see there's over 1.1 thousand comments. I'm a very, I like engaging with my audience, keep you on your toes, so you're listening. And a big thing I want to say is, guys, I am no one special. I am just a normal Irish woman in the south of Ireland who decided that I did not want to be the best kept secret. I wanted to have a system that works. I wanted to be consistent with that system, and I wanted to serve more people. And what I love now is that no matter what's going on in my life, I can literally do a webinar just like that, following my system, and I'm closing dream clients. Now, who is ready to hear the 3 pillars? Give me a yes in the chat. I won't get to 1,000 comments here, but I will get to a couple of hundred. Make sure, give me a yes if you are ready to learn my 3 pillars. Okay, now I'm big into mindsets. The mindset coaches, all different type of mindset coaches, not just one in particular, but the biggest thing that I love is that for you to reach the success that you know you have the potential to reach, right? We know we have the potential to be amazing coaches and to serve a lot of people and have the cash that we want, the freedom that we want. But to do that, you have to take massive determined action. Massive determined action. You got to be focused. You got to take a quantum leap. And you got to be determined that you make non-negotiable goals for your business, and that goes for your marketing. And I want to ask all of you right now, who's ready for imperfect action? As a coach, sometimes you may feel, I'm not ready. Okay, whoever feels like that. Sarah, I don't have my website. I haven't created my group program. I don't have an audience. I don't have an email list. Do you know the things that we say to ourselves? I built my business to 7 figures with no website. No website, no established audience, no joint partners, no joint partnerships. What I was determined, completely determined. I was very focused, determined. I wanted to help as many people as possible. My philosophy is imperfect action is better than no action. Okay, you do not need a website. You do not need a business card. What you need is knowing that you can help people with your solution. Now, who believes that? Like wholeheartedly. Whatever your zone of genius is, you know that you can help your dream clients. Now, a lot of you will be similar to me, where your coaching business actually came from your own journey and your own experiences. And it's actually selfish of us to not serve more people. Like, we don't want people going through the pain that we went through, the journey that you went through. I want people to skip the trial and error. And I want them to live their best life, whatever your zone of genius is, to have the best job they want, the best mindset, you know, the best life, best relationship, cash flow, whatever you help people to do. And realize, and I know you've had a lot of sales workshops on this event, and the best thing I'd say to people is you got to put yourself out there in order to serve more people, because I do feel it's our duty to help more people not go through what we went through. Let them skip the trial and error, okay? And that is really how I feel about things, okay? So let's get straight into it. The 3 pillars of winning clients with webinars is a lot more simpler than you think, okay? It's a lot more simpler than you think. I'm going to be talking about how to structure a high converting webinar, how to convert attendees to book a one-on-one call, and how to sell on your webinar, okay? Now, the first thing I want to talk about is your webinar title. Who has done a webinar before? Give me a yes or a no. Give me a yes or no in the chat. Have you done a webinar before? A free live webinar. Okay, a lot of no's, some yeses. Lisa has, Jeremy has. Okay, it's good to know where we're at. Now, the main pillar is, how do you pick a webinar title that solves a big problem? This is the biggest thing that stops people from hosting a webinar. I want all of you to write down your pen and paper. What is the big problem you solve? What is the big problem you solve? So for example, if you're a mindset coach, do you help people get unstuck? Do you help people with their money mindset? Do you help people with imposter syndrome? Now, your ideal client will have many different problems that they have, but what is their absolute biggest problem? If you know what it is, please put it into the chat. My clients, for example, have a problem with lead generation. They have a problem with selling, with audience building. They have a problem with putting themselves out there. So I have a number of different problems, but your webinar title, you want to solve the big problem. So what is the big problem? Because I actually want to start crafting your webinar now, guys, on this talk. I had a client who was a career coach. And so there's some career coaches here. I saw it in the chat. And she came to me and she said, Sarah, I have a webinar title. It's how to be successful in an interview. And she said, Sarah, I'm not getting the uptake. The webinar fell flat on its face. And I asked her and I said, what is the biggest problem that your clients and your ideal clients have? And she said, their CV. They can't write resumes. They can't write CVs. And it's not even getting picked. It's not even getting looked at. It's not even getting looked at. And I said, well, isn't that what your webinar should be about? And she said, yeah, that makes sense. So her new title was how to make sure your CV is on top of the pile every time. And that was a big problem solved for her audience. And it was like fire. She sold 9 people into a group program through that free live webinar. And she used LinkedIn to do it. Okay, so you want your webinar title to solve a big problem. Write this down. Remove any words that are not needed in the title. Like she had a title and it was how to be successful in the. So how to be successful in the. Use 6 words that actually were not needed. They weren't needed. So remove any words you don't need in your title. Make sure it solves a big problem. Make sure it includes that word that you know needs to be in it. If you're a health coach, does weight loss need to be in it? If you're a mindset coach, does mindset need to be in it? What is that non-negotiable word that needs to be in your title? Now, the titles that work the best, get your pen and paper. The titles that work the best, the 2 type of titles is the how-to. Everybody loves a good how-to. The how to do, like I could have named this, how to win clients with webinars. People want to know your system. Okay, the how-to works very well. And the second one that works well is the list. 3 ways to, 5 steps to. Guys, we love a good list. We do. So a how-to and lists are the most important one. So I'm looking at your comments right now. Okay, Graham, for example, Graham, how to take away the fear of selling. Amazing. And Graham, for you, if people have a fear of selling, it may be because they don't feel authentic. So if you know your ideal client very well, you could do another title, you know, how to be authentic in your selling, or how not to feel sleazy on your sales conversation. So you could have a number of different titles that would work. A tip, post a poll of your webinar title ideas on your social media. Get your audience to tell you. Post a poll. LinkedIn polls have got massive traction. I posted a poll 2 days ago on LinkedIn asking people what's stopping them, and I reached over 9,000 people. It was just instant. People who love answering polls and questions. I love answering questions and polls. So for this pillar, guys, when you're crafting your amazing live free webinar to close coaching clients, the best thing you need to focus on first is the title. Solves a big problem. A list or a how-to is very popular. Don't include words that don't mean anything, and give your audience a win. Okay, type in webinar title if you get what I'm saying of pillar 1. Type webinar title into the chat right now. All 35 of you. I'm going to see how many is in the chat. Type in the word webinar title. Okay. Type in the word webinar title. Now, the next one. Okay, it's great. Sarah, I've made an amazing webinar. I absolutely love it. It's going to solve so many problems for my ideal client. But Sarah, how do I actually attract my ideal clients? Like, who's actually worried about filling their webinar? Give me a yes if you're like, Sarah, that's fantastic. How on earth do I fill this? Okay, so Caroline, Kelly, yeah. How do I actually fill this? I'm going to stop the screen share for a second, because this is a very important part for me. I'm a lead generation strategist, and this thing is really, I'm going to look at all your faces so I can see everyone. Hi everyone. This is a big issue, a massive issue for people. Okay, they wonder, how do I actually fill my webinar? So I'm going to put some numbers around it. Who wants some numbers? How many needs to be on the webinar to close? Okay. Who wants to close 2 to 3 clients on a webinar? Would that be a good goal? 2 to 3 private clients, one-on-one clients. Okay, or 6 in a group program. Would that be a good stat for you? Now, if that's a good stat, you need 65 to register for your webinar. So if you want 2 to 3 private clients or 6 to 8 in a group program, you're going to need 65 to register for your webinar. Now, another stat to give you, if you have 65 registering for your webinar, half will show up live. Now, it's very different for a multi-day event, but for a 1 hour webinar, the 15-minute webinar, less than half will show up live. Now, don't be disheartened. People watch on replay, and you can get clients from that as well. And your call to action should be to get on a call, with them. I'm going to come back to the closing in a second, but I want to talk about these 65 people. How do you get these people to register? Okay, so I'm going to talk about 2 platforms. I want you to let me know, with your raising your hand, which one is more likely to have your ideal clients. LinkedIn. Whose clients are more likely to be on LinkedIn? Especially the career coaches, the entrepreneurs, target entrepreneurs. Hands up, who will be LinkedIn? Whose audience are on LinkedIn? So Annie is, Kelly, Caroline, Nancy, anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, LinkedIn. Now, the second one I'm going to talk about is Facebook groups. Whose audience is on Facebook? Hands up if they're on Facebook. Okay, Paulette, Sherry, Melinda, Kelly. So we have half and half. Now, your ideal client, you need to think about what social media platform are they most likely to be on. And I don't want you overwhelmed. Guys, we can't be on everything. I'm not on Clubhouse. I'm not on TikTok. I don't use Twitter. I don't use Instagram. And I don't feel bad about it. I don't want to be on everything. Kelly's like, no, yeah, forget about it. I don't want to be on everything. I do not want to be on everything. I have picked 2 platforms. So I want you to think about it right now. What platform would your ideal clients be on? Are you LinkedIn only, maybe, if you're a career coach? Are you Facebook groups, Instagram? Guys, if you're targeting entrepreneurs, it's a wide variety, so it depends on what you like. Mindset, you're targeting, so David, great, LinkedIn and Twitter. So let me know. Thank you, David. Let me know where your audience is, because we can't be on everything. Okay, I'm going to give you amazing tips right now for 2 platforms. Dane, YouTube. Yep. Okay, so everyone is kind of, for coaches, we're kind of our LinkedIn, Facebook. Okay, so for LinkedIn, here's a tip. When you host a webinar, you can create a LinkedIn event. Write down LinkedIn event. LinkedIn event is a free tool. It's on the left-hand side of your screen on LinkedIn, and it allows you to invite 1,000 of your first connections to your webinar. 1,000. It is an amazing tool. It's been around for about 1.5 years. LinkedIn are putting a lot of money into the development of this feature. And you can convert your first connections on LinkedIn into webinar attendees. Who is going to use the LinkedIn events to fill their webinar? Yeah, great. Graham is, Dawn is, anyone else? Guys, I have clients who only use LinkedIn events. They do nothing else. They grow their LinkedIn, post on LinkedIn, and do a LinkedIn event. That's it. That's all they're doing, because they're like, Sarah, I'm a busy parent. I don't have time to do all this marketing. So LinkedIn event is a big tip I have for you. Now, the second tip I have is for Facebook. So for those of you who are Facebook. Now, Facebook groups. There is a reason why Facebook spent millions doing an advertisement for the Super Bowl for their groups. They weren't promoting their advertising, guys. They weren't promoting their pages. They were promoting their Facebook groups. Now, there's a reason why they put millions behind it. Facebook communities is exploding for the coaching industry, and there's 2 ways to fill your webinar. One way is your own Facebook group. Who has a Facebook group? Hands up, Facebook group. Graham does, Nefli does, Nancy does. Okay, great. You can actually create a Facebook event in your Facebook group and invite 500 members. Right, you can create a Facebook event in your Facebook group and invite 500 members. Now, that's one way. The other way of using Facebook groups is using other Facebook groups. So what am I talking about? If you type in whatever your keyword is, okay, maybe it's professionals, entrepreneurs, career, mindset, whatever your keyword is, and you do a search on Facebook, you're going to get a list of groups. And some groups are made for a community base. In other words, you can post and promote in these groups. I had a client, anyone who's NLP, transformational coach, any transformational coaches, James's, anyone else? So she did, this is just to give you some clarity, Ruby is. I had a client, no audience, and she said, Sarah, how am I going to fill this webinar? So I said, go and look for Facebook groups for your target audience. So she posted in a Facebook group for women, and she said, I've created an audio for you to use in the mornings to start your day right. Like, I'm not a transformational coach, so I'm not really sure what the audio was, but she gave like an affirmation audio to feel good about yourself. Okay, you can tell I'm not a mindset coach anyway. You know, I feel good audio. And she said, anyone who wants to start their day right, I've created this audio. Who wants it? Question mark in a Facebook group. She got comments under comments. Yes, yes, yes. Me. She sent them the audio and invited them to the webinar. It was like that. She had 32 people who registered for her webinar who was never in her audience. So you can use LinkedIn events on LinkedIn, free feature. Facebook events in your Facebook group, and you can give a freebie in another Facebook group and get them onto your webinar. Now, I have a list of like 18 ways to fill your webinar. I can only go through like tips for now, but does anyone feel a small bit better about filling their webinar? Small bit more confident? Is there people on your LinkedIn? Could you grow your LinkedIn? Could you then invite them to your LinkedIn event? And obviously, guys, there's many other ways to fill your webinar. Give me a yes, you feel just even an inch more confident with filling your webinar. Okay, yes, you do. Caroline, Wendy, amazing. Okay, I'll go back to my spiel now. I like to see your faces. Okay. All right. This is why actually I wanted to talk about a client to put into perspective. So this was a client of mine, Debbie. She's a business coach. So she's in the UK. And before she started working with me, she had an issue. She actually wasn't very clear on her ideal client. And what was happening was, if you don't have clarity on your ideal client, what happens is your webinar is wrong, your marketing is wrong, your offers are wrong. You need to know who you want to help and how you're helping them before you do anything. The second thing was, I want to ask all of you now, she was undercharging. She was charging, this is not a joke, she was charging £400, right? For literally about 10 hours. It's about £40 an hour for her business coaching. Who has or is undercharging? You know you're undercharging. Give me a yes if you're undercharging. I used to undercharge massively. Probably, yeah, Kelly is. Now, when you undercharge, what happens is a twofold thing. One is cash flow is not great, guys. You need more clients. You got to do more marketing. You got to close more clients. And the second thing is they may not believe that you can give them the transformation that you said. It is a known fact. If you charge what you are worth, they're more likely to believe that you can help them with the solution you said you're going to help them with. I buy premium packages from people I believe in because I know I will get results. If they charge too little, I think, no, they don't know, they won't help me. And the third problem she had was she didn't have an audience. So she said, Sarah, I'm a mother, I'm a wife. She had another business and she wanted to step into coaching. So we got her straight away. She 4 times her prices. Decision made. She decided to focus on LinkedIn. She didn't want to be on anything else. She grew her LinkedIn to 1,500 connections. Now that's crazy. I'm not telling you to go add 1,400 to your LinkedIn in 4 weeks. It was a bit crazy. She was connecting with, I think, maybe 100 a day. So out of 3,000 connections, 1,400 said yes. She closed 7 clients in 6 weeks. in her new pricing, $1,600 each. Okay, so that just shows you no audience needed, and her offer was super simple. Okay, now my third pillar, we are coaches. What happens? We give away the whole bloody recipe. Have you ever been on a sales call and you end up coaching them and they're not even a client, and you're giving out free advice and you're doing more sessions than you should be doing, and you're just giving and giving and giving? And what happens is people will perceive that they have enough to get the result that you said, but you know they don't. They need you. They need your system. They need your accountability. They need to work with you one-on-one. So it does not serve anyone. On your webinar, please do not overteach. Like imagine and you know what happens? You're going to overwhelm them. Like imagine I went, okay guys, here is 18 ways to fill your webinar. You'd be like, oh my God, what is this? This is crazy, too much. Information overload. So give away the spice, not the whole recipe. You want to leave them wanting more. Your webinar, write this down, all of you. The webinar is to show the why, not the how. Now, I do show 10% of the how, but it's more showing them that it can be done, the possibilities. I don't want you on your webinar with a load of text slides, heavy content, big stats. It's going to overwhelm them. They're not going to listen as much, and they're not going to move towards becoming a client. Okay, so you don't want them leaving, you want them leaving wanting more. Okay, so here's an example of a client, Barbara. She's from Canada, actually also based in the UK, and whose one-on-one is full and they want to launch a group. Give me a yes if you want to launch a group. You're like, I'm so ready for a group program. Who is ready for a group program? Give me a yes if that relates to you. Now, group programs equals scaling. You're ready to scale. You have perfected your method. Okay, you are maxed out probably with one-on-one, and basically you're ready to serve many people and to go from one to many. So this is Barbara. She wanted confidence in her program and she needed a system to fill her program. So she wasn't selling her program because she honestly did not feel that she could. She said, Sarah, I have a great group program. She's a health coach. And what happened was she created an amazing webinar, one webinar. She did it twice. So she loved the webinar so much, she ran it again the next week. And she sold 11 places in her program with 60 people. Now that's a high stats. I gave you the average, 65 people to sell 6 or 8 into a group program. She beat that statistic, and she started her group program. She said, Sarah, the feeling of 11 people, not one-on-one, in a group setting, on a call, like imagine you were all in a group program together, and knowing she's making money from 1 hour weekly call, but off 11 people. Like who wants that? And now what she has, and Barbara is so excited because now in her back pocket, she launches a webinar, she gives value, she gets them on a call, and she fills her one-on-one or her group program. And that's what I love about webinars. So to recap, I want to go through, you pick a webinar title that solves a problem. Now, step 1, solves a big problem for your ideal client. Number 2, you can fill your webinar organically. Now, I'm not opposed to ads. I'm really not. But I want you to realize you don't need an audience. You really don't. And you want your webinar to give them value, but leave them wanting more. We overteach. That's our nature as coaches. We over-deliver. It does not help anyone. You want to leave them wanting more. Give away the spice, but not the whole recipe. And here is the actual webinar. Okay, I'm gonna take a sip of water. It's funny, all my webinars, I drink this Volvic, and people think that it's like a sponsored post. Drink the Volvic. It's the only thing I drink. So take a sip of water, get your pen and paper. We're now going to go through what actually is the structure of the webinar. Okay, your webinar is live. Never make it evergreen until you've perfected it. Live, that means people register and show up just like you're showing up right now. Make it live. You want to make it 15 minutes. Why so? I'm actually going to end it on 15 minutes. The reason being is I don't want to bore anyone, tire anyone, overwhelm anyone. And people usually have something to go to on the hour. So I want to leave room for Q&A. So 15-minute webinar. Midweek is statistically the best day to host your webinar. Wednesday or Thursday. Best days, Wednesday or Thursday. Now, this is the main part. You want to have 3 secrets. You're going to teach 3 pillars. Like I had 3 pillars. It is statistically the best way to teach your content. So whatever you're teaching, whatever your zone of genius is, put it into 3 secrets. And the call to action, I'm going to ask you all right now, will you be selling live or getting them on a call? So type in call or live. Are you going to get them to click on a sales page, or are you going to encourage them to book a call with you? Are you call or live? Graham, live, sales page. I want you to answer the question first before I give you the stats around it. Okay, so everyone put your answer in, sales page or call. Now this is important. If your offer is less than 1,000, you can sell it live. If your offer is less than 1,000, you can sell it live. If your offer is more than 1,000, you want to get them on a call. Now, that is a fixed but flexible statistic. If you're doing a multi-day webinar, you can definitely sell from a sales page, a high ticket offer. But for your 15-minute webinar, if it's over 1,000, you get them on a call. Why? They want to talk about their problems, their issues, and they want to talk about the program when it is so high ticket. Okay? So they're the parameters of the webinar. Now, who is ready to take imperfect action? So I went through the webinar system. If you love speaking and you're ready to take imperfect action, I'm excited for you. So you don't need a large audience. You really don't. You don't need your group program created. You don't need an email list. Guys, sales funnels, I didn't even have a website. And from your webinar, my recommendation is 1 webinar a month, and you're either going to fill your one-on-one program or your group offer. You got to make a decision. So you do 1 webinar a month. You either fill your one-on-one program or your group program. Make a decision on which one it would be. As I said, I like simplicity. I like hosting 1 webinar a month, and that's it. And I go about my day. And that is enough for you to fill your one-on-one or your group programs. Now, there's many other lead generation systems, guys, but this is the simplest one that I love to use. Okay. Now, this is actually, I like whiteboards. I'm actually wearing the same top, which is funny. I love whiteboards and I celebrate every client. What I've been doing, every client I close, I use a Post-it, and I've actually created like a fishbowl, and I'm putting the name of every client into the fishbowl, and it's a fantastic way of like sealing the deal of a client. This is me after 1 webinar. I closed 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 clients. Actually, see Debbie's name there. She's the one who I spoke about. Funny enough, this is Debbie. There you go. That's Debbie on my wall. She closed from one of the webinars. And I want to say that you need to celebrate everything as a coach. Being a coach, being a full-time coach can have its ups and downs. I think we all know that. And I want lead generation systems to be simple. Simple systems. So give me a yes if you are going to be using webinars to close clients. I hope I've convinced people enough that if you love speaking if you're a talker like I am, if you like helping people and serving people, and you're ready to actually have your calls booked out and closing clients, all yes to come in. So I'm inviting you, this is free. This is a free challenge. I have a 5-day challenge where you actually make your, you craft your webinar. You craft your secrets, you craft how to fill it, your title. It's starting on May 17th. The link is in the chat right now. So everyone take a minute to register. So click on the link and register for it's a free 5-day challenge. You're gonna get to know me a lot more. And we're actually gonna craft, it's free. It's a 5-day free challenge. We're actually gonna craft your webinar. The title, the secrets, how you're gonna fill it, and the timeline. So make sure in the referred by, you can type in Dawn's name, type in Dawn. So click on the link, register, and in 1 minute, we're going to do Q&A. So on May 17th, that week, you're actually going to craft your webinar. You're going to craft the name of your webinar, the secrets, how you're going to fill it, your ideal client. Anyone who's confused about your ideal client or your offer, we're going to do it on the challenge. It's super simple, super easy, and we're going to do it in May 17th. So click on the link that's in the chat, and now I'm going to open the floor for any questions. So Dawn, for questions, do I unmute them? Which way do you usually do it?
What we've been doing, thank you, Sarah, is just saying, raise your hand, unmute yourself, and hopefully that way it can be quite organized and nobody talks over anybody. So okay. You've made it seem so super simple, which I guess is the objective, Sarah.
Yeah, but it is simple. Like guys, my clients are predominantly not techie. My clients aren't techie. They're very experienced coaches. They're amazing at what they do, but tech and marketing is like, oh God. So that's the majority of my clients. So I have to come up with a system that was super simple to make. And the system of webinars, like being able to go live and have your ideal clients there, you teach them 3 secrets, you get them on a call, and boom, you have, like, think of it this way, Dawn, do you know cold leads, right? People that don't know you, cold leads. Are they going to get to know you in a webinar? Yeah. They're going to get to know your personality. They're going to know that you're credible. They're going to know your style. Like, as a coach, people decide to work with you based on you, really, don't they? Like, no one's going to work with you if they don't know that you're credible, you know your stuff, and you have a solution. Like, I'm sure some of you, like on this live right now, you know me a bit better and the speakers a bit better than you would if you saw an ad, or you would if you got a DM on social media. That is what I love about webinars. They go from cold leads to dream call clients. So any questions? So Graham said, what about Facebook Lives? Graham, do you want to unmute yourself?
Yep. Hiya.
I love the paintings in the back.
Okay. A bit of Billy Connolly.
I love Billy Connolly.
Yeah,
so
it's a self-portrait. The one over my shoulder is a self-portrait. Yeah, I mean, Facebook Lives, if you can get into a group and do a Facebook Live, would you do this, similar to a webinar, and then gain the traction out the comments underneath?
Yeah, it's actually a very good point. I love Facebook Lives. My recommendation is for everyone to do a Facebook Live in their own Facebook group. I do it on Wednesdays, but it's only for 10-15 minutes. Now, you want people to register for your webinar. There's a step that you want people to make. I want them to register for the webinar. With Facebook Lives, they're not registering. But what I like with Facebook Lives, Graham, is people watch it on their time when they're available. It keeps you top of mind. You give a bit of value. But I actually use Facebook Live for two ways. One is to join a webinar, or one is to get on a call with me. We actually have success with people who join my Facebook group. I do a live consistency is key, guys. If you stop doing a live in your Facebook group, do you ever notice that the engagement stops? You got to set a day and time you do your lives. Like mine are literally every Wednesday at 5 o'clock. No matter what's going on in my life, I have to do it. So I do for 10 minutes on a small topic. And then my call to action is to say, I'll say, comment the word call below to speak to one of my team, or I say, comment the word webinar, and I send you the link to the webinar. Now, what that does, Graham, is it starts a conversation in Facebook Messenger. So instead of me giving them the link to book a call on Facebook Lives, they've come to the word call, and then we message them saying, I'm so glad you're on my live, that you wanted a call, here's the link. But you can start a conversation, so very good point. Yeah, I definitely would be using Facebook Lives. It's not necessary for webinars. I do it for my business because it's just a great way to keep top of mind with your audience. Yeah, so thank you, Graham. Any other questions? Thank you.
What about platforms, Sarah? People have a lot of queries about what is the platform. Of course, you know, we spent the last year on Zoom, but it used to be a big topic of conversation.
Yeah, so for hosting your webinar, I personally use Zoom. The reason being is I use Eventbrite for my registration page. If you want to write that down, Eventbrite, I'll type it in here. This is what I use for my registration page. It's free. Canva is for your graphics, and then I use Zoom for hosting the webinar. Now, guys, there are so many platforms. You have Webinar Ninja, Webinar Jam, Microsoft Teams. But for people who are new and who want to keep costs low, Eventbrite for your registration page, Canva for your graphics, and Zoom to host your webinar. And I find that the easiest free system for setting up your webinar. Now, I'm now on Kajabi. I have moved, but I was on Eventbrite for like a year. It's completely free, and all the features are there to connect to Zoom. So that's what I use. Yeah,
great.
I think I have one hand up. Dane, do you want to meet
Dane?
Hi, I'm Dan.
Hi, Dan.
My question is, do you come up with new material for every webinar, or do you tend to repeat some of the same things?
Very good question. So I believe in having one core signature webinar. So your main webinar that you can literally use anytime. But I do believe in having slightly different titles. So for example, if I was doing a webinar on LinkedIn events, okay, the next one could be on how to close clients on LinkedIn, but I won't say LinkedIn events. So I believe in one signature webinar because the work is done for you, and tweaking the content, tweaking the title to keep improving it. And it also, Dan, it's a good question because you actually have to change your webinar if you're not building your audience. Now, if you're building your audience each month, you can do the exact same webinar, exact same. But if you're not consistently building your audience, you're going to exhaust your current audience. So very good question. So to answer it, if you're building your audience, don't have to change it. If you're not, I'll tweak the title and tweak the content to keep improving it and have your signature webinar. So thank you for the question. Hope that answered it for you.
Definitely. Caroline.
Hi, Sarah. Hi. How do you decide on a price? So I struggle with, well, what's reasonable? And I'm a careers coach, so I am aware that given the pandemic, there's lots of people who will have been furloughed or made redundant. And I want, part of my reason for thinking about webinars in the first instance was to reach out to that group and make it more affordable. They might not be able to afford a coach as such, but I thought a series of job search webinars might be a way to reach those people.
So that's a very good point. It's a very good point. Yeah, so if you want to give back to people in general and just give free advice, I would probably make a lead magnet, right? People who are struggling at the moment. For you to put your energy into hosting a webinar, filling a webinar, I do believe you've got to be kind to yourself and your business, and you've got to fill it with the right people. And personally, right? So I believe I'm so about giving free advice, and you know, people who are struggling, who will never become a client, do a free lead magnet. Could you create like you know, a quick guide or a pre-recorded video for those people? And then regarding pricing, I do believe it's two things. It's mindset. Okay, mindset's massive towards pricing. And the second thing is, do you actually know how many hours it takes to serve that client and how much you want to make an hour? People who, okay, there's three things here. People who believe in you, believe in themselves, and believe in your solution will pay for your offer. Now, if one of those things is off, they're going to question pricing. Okay. And another thing is, Caroline, it depends on your kind of coach. If you're helping people secure their dream job, that's, you know, 60,000 or whatever it is over how many years, right? Is it worth for you to charge what you're worth to get that job? Are they going to get their job quicker? Are they going to get a better job? Less stress, save time, save money, because they're working with you. So you need to write down, and this will help you all with pricing, how I feel good about pricing. I write down all the benefits of working with me. I write down how many hours it takes me to serve them. And I'm including preparing for my client calls, including, you know, sending a recording. And then I say, non-negotiable, how much am I worth an hour?
Okay.
So hopefully that has helped you, Caroline.
It has. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Any other questions? Anyone, any last questions? I think we're done. Well, guys, thank you so much. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I will see some of you on your 5-day to actually craft your webinar. And any questions, like I'm on LinkedIn, Sarah Gray. I'm super excited to be speaking to you, and well done, Dawn, on a fantastic event. And guys, what I want to say is the big difference between you and other people. You showed up for yourself, you showed up for your business, and investing time in an event like this, you will never regret. You decided to open your mind, to educate yourself, and to move forward. And what I want to say is that is more than some people are doing. So let go of frustration, let go of confusion, follow what the speakers are saying, whatever feels good to you. Get aligned with your business, set goals, and keep going. So guys, thank you so much. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And Dawn, best luck with the rest of the event.
Thank you very much, Sarah. It's been an absolute pleasure. And as usual, everybody, we just end with 60 seconds quiet time, just making sure that we've captured all those nuggets from Sarah's masterclass, because if we record our to-dos at the weekend when we've got time and listen to a few more masterclasses, it won't get done, because we know what measures get done. So just take 60 seconds now and capture that either in the chat box or on your CPD logs as you wish.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Thank you.
Okay, and yes, you're right, Colette. Sarah did certainly make the whole process seem very, very easy. And Madalena, I know you say you're a million miles away from doing your first hosting of a webinar, but just practice with family, friends, pro bono clients, do the Facebook Lives, get confidence and start to build your profile. So tomorrow is the last day of ICW. And we have 2 seconds. In the morning, we have Gail back to do 2 of 2, and that's converting winning networking connections. And at the 5 o'clock slot, we have Scott back who's going to do part 2 of his decision intelligence selling process, and a brand new speaker at the 1:30 slot. So have a wonderful evening. As Sarah said, well done for investing in yourself and your business and showing up today. Thank you for your support and questions. Have a lovely evening or day if you're on the other side of the pond. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.